Part of what I'm hoping to do this summer is to show you things that I'm using that are just making my life easier in the classroom. And so with this video, I've partnered with PDF Element to show you some ways that I've been using their product in my classroom all year this year to just make life easier. And so I'm stoked because just in June, PDF Element updated and has PDF Element 7, has a lot of new cool stuff on it that you can use in your classroom. And so one lesson learned for me in the last year of working with PDF Element and with their parent company, Wondershare, it is often the places that we don't think to look for products or services or information that are the most useful. So I've said this any number of times, but I don't read educational books. I read business books to get better at being an educator. And that's not for everyone, but for me, that's how it works. And PDF Element, this was sort of the same thing for me. I'd known people that had used it, but I knew it in terms of something that offices, businesses, people in the corporate part of the world were using, but not necessarily teachers. And so when I looked into it, I found cool reasons that I could use it in my classroom. And so without making this sound like a commercial, I just want to break down a couple of those ways I've been using it this year and new things I'm getting ready for next year. So one of those ways is on my syllabus. I have a syllabus that looks unlike a lot of other syllabuses. I want it to all be on one sheet. I don't want to overwhelm my students with a whole bunch of different information and tons of text and stuff like that. What I'm trying to do is have my syllabus look different than anybody else's syllabus in the building. I want to stand out at the end of the day. That's right, people I work with. I want them to walk away at the end of the day, and when they're discussing syllabuses on the way home, they could be like, that guy with the syllabi, that was a great class today. His syllabus was on point. Now the problem with that syllabus is this. At school, I use a PC computer. At home, I use a Mac computer. When I make stuff on my PC, there's often not a way, because I'm not tech savvy enough, even though I have a YouTube channel and all that, I'm not savvy enough to figure out how to always adjust the things that I've made on a PC on a Mac. A lot of times I get stuck with these PDF files that I can't then change on my Mac. I'm sure a number of you are thinking of 7 ways that you could help me with this, but I figured it out. And so when I send this to my email, I just upload it in PDF Element, and I'm able to change a lot of things. And so for this year, changing a couple of things. I want to change some of the font. I want this to be something that I didn't just make one time, but that I remake every year, because it makes it fresh and new and interesting for me. And plus I start to have this idea of changing a few things on my syllabus for the year. So one of those is where I have it saying that students will frequently get homework. They're not going to frequently get homework. We don't get homework really. So I'm just going to cut that out. I am, however, going to make certain homework assignments optional, and I'll talk about that in another video. If students particularly like a topic, a subject, something we were going over, and they want to take it to the next level and go a little bit deeper of their own volition, they can do that. I want to let folks know that on here. And so through this program, I can change those things without having to go back to school and just work on it in my classroom where my computer is, or really just figure anything. I really am just trying to minimize the amount of anything that I have to figure out in my life. Life should be like that. Another change I'm hoping to make this year is this. Those of you that follow me know that I think relationships are king in the classroom. And the more you know about your students, the more you can teach through the lens of things that they like. You can start conversations easier. You can take students that are introverted, that are quiet. You can know where that entry point is to build that relationship with that student. What kind of music do they like? What kind of movies do they watch? What kind of television shows or Netflix shows do they watch? Who's their hero? What do they think about themselves? What are they proud of about themselves? And how do they want to grow in their lives? And so I created this sheet. Let's pop it up here. Bam. Which is essentially giving me some insight on who these students are. Now again, I've had this sheet for a while. It's only a PDF. And so with this program, I'm able to upload it. I'm able to change things. For years, this sheet has said, what are qualities of a good math teacher? I don't teach math. I used to go in there and either white out it or cross it out with Sharpie and then handwrite it. But I like things to look nice and neat, and crossing things out and handwriting them that are to fix it, it's just not nice and neat. It looks like garbage is what it looks like. So I fixed it. Simply go in, you click on it, it creates a text box, and then you can rewrite anything in there that you want. You can change font. I could change all of the questions if I wanted to. So I can change that math teacher thing. I could change the fact that I don't want it to say just TV shows anymore, because every year someone asks me, what about Netflix? What about Hulu? What about Amazon Prime? So I plan on incorporating that into that box. Or where it says radio station. Most of my students don't listen to the radio anymore. So who's your favorite artist? Who's your favorite performer? And these might seem like little trivial fixes, but it's really just letting me seem more prepared. It's letting me seem like I know my students, and it's minimizing the number of questions I get in the beginning of the year so I can help students with things that actually matter instead of clarifying for the 9,000th time that yes, the TV shows don't have to actually be on your TV. I know you watch it on your phone. It's okay. The other thing I've been enjoying a lot with this is taking old papers that folks have given me and having the ability to scan them in. So I scan them in at our school, I just scan them in at the copy machine, have them sent to my computer. I then open them up using PDF Element, and I can take papers that were Xeroxed in 1984 that someone gave me that's still a really great lesson or a really great idea. And without having to recreate the wheel, I can simply scan it in and change the things that I want. I can clean up the font, I can clean up the text boxes, I can add pictures to them if I want. Whether that's clip art or it's an image of an artist that I want to have on there. This has really given me an ability to really step up my game in terms of what my resources look like. And so whether you're creating something for your classroom or something that you plan on selling online, like a resource for other teachers to sell online, this is a great way to do that and to add text and pictures to something that did not have it before. And one more way I'm sort of thinking about this right now is, well, check this out. I also love organization. And so with all of these books that I have this luxury of having this really wonderful classroom library. But if students can't find what they're looking for, it becomes a problem because I have a little bit of historical fiction over here, and then that goes into crime, or books about crime, not actual crimes, science fiction, fantasy, sports, autobiographies, biographies. But what I need is for students to be able to find books themselves. I want them to find something that's going to make them want to read. And part of the way I get kids to want to read is by making my books look attractive. Whether that's on these lit shelves back here or on these floating bookshelves over here, I want books to look like something that are drawing kids in, like a bug light, but without zapping them, because you can't zap kids, it's against the law. So one of the ways I'm looking into this year is by creating tags. But like everything else, I can't just have regular tags, I gotta have extra tags. So I found these tags online, I purchased them, but I don't like the fonts in all of them. In using PDF Element 7, I can download these tags and I can change the fonts on them so that's something that reflects me. And although this works for every grade, I think high school teachers in particular, they just don't make stuff that is geared towards high school teachers. A lot of stores make things that are geared towards elementary school teachers or middle school teachers. But for high school, you kind of got to make something from nothing. And so one of my hopes for next year is to be able to label all of these different areas so that students will know exactly what kind of books they're looking for. So you're into sports, or you're into nonfiction, or you're into history, or manga, or graphic novels, or science. This is a super simple way to be able to find those books in my room. I think this is worth checking out. I'm gonna link it below if you want to check it out. And although it's the middle of the summer, I'm still wondering if you could leave a comment in the section below to tell what resources you're doing. Because as always, I'm not the be-all end-all, but we're a community of educators. And although I'm the one making the videos, let your voice be heard below, because you're gonna help somebody out. Someone that's looking through those comments is going to be able to find a resource that you've been using that might benefit their classroom as well. If you go to the link below in the description box, I'm gonna have everything that you need to know about PDF Element. You can link to them from there, and you can find out more about Wondershare from there as well. And if you have any questions, just shoot me an email and I'd be happy to help with anything that I can. That's it, everybody. Peace.